Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Mai Demizu.
And I'm Makiko Tsuda.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from our studio here in Tokyo.
From the economy, culture and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
And these are our topics for today. As always, we have some interesting stories to share with you, so stay with us. So let's get started. First up is Executive Insight. So Utsuda-san, what's the topic today?
Yes, we'll be looking into the weddings or so-called bridal business in Japan.
Well, I know a lot of single people who have a picture-perfect wedding in mind. Of course, including myself.
Yes.
Well, how big is the market right now?
Well, I have a little chart over here. You can see in 2011, the market was valued at $14.5 billion. And although last year it shrank by about $200 million.
So is the demand expected to pick up?
Well, that could be a bit difficult. I have a different chart over here. According to a survey carried out in 2011, about 660,000 couples tied the knot that year. And unfortunately, the number has been falling since then. And behind this trend is the declining birth rate, which obviously means naturally a smaller pool of singles. And another phenomenon that's becoming more prevalent in recent years is unmarried couples who are hesitant to take the next step because they don't have a stable job or an income. And also in recent years, a growing number of people get married on paper, which means just registering their marriage but don't actually hold a wedding.
Oh, I see. So that seems like a tough environment for weddings business.
You could definitely say that. But at the same time, though, many companies are coming into the market and new wedding halls are being built one after another. And in fact, the industry has become so competitive that no one company has captured a dominant position. So even if you combine the sales of the top four companies, they still don't only account for about 10% of the market.
Well, today, which company are we looking at?
Well, it's a company called it's a wedding planner called Novarese, and they also run numerous wedding halls. And they set up 13 years ago, but they're still considered as one of the newer companies to join the market, and they've been expanding quite rapidly by offering services different from their rivals. And I had the chance to speak with its president called Takeharu Asada, so please take a look.
Executive Insight. In Japan, couples tie the knot in a variety of styles. For example, this is a traditional Japanese wedding. Called Shinzenshiki, it is held at Shinto shrines. This is a Christian-style ceremony. A priest or minister is usually present. And this is non-religious, a new style in which a couple's marriage is witnessed and affirmed not by a higher power, but friends and family. After the marriage ceremony, a reception is held to officially introduce the newlyweds to guests.
Cheers!
The party is attended by family, friends, work colleagues, and other close acquaintances. The venue varies, such as a hotel, a wedding hall, restaurant, or a guest house. These grand events are often organized by wedding planners. So what does it take to be a successful agent of happily ever after? We speak with the industry's top cupid, Novarese.
What are couples looking for?
Many customers say they don't want a cookie-cutter wedding in a big hall or hotel. Another request we've been getting recently is that they want to properly entertain guests, which may mean renting out an entire facility. Food is another big focus. Modern couples are willing to spend money on things they like, but won't spend a single cent on things they're not interested in. They're becoming increasingly choosy. In that sense, the concept of weddings has clearly changed from something people do for parents to an event for couples themselves.
Novarese was founded in 2000 and was listed on the first section of the Tokyo Stock Exchange in 2010. They are headquartered in Ginza, Tokyo.
This is the studio, right over here. This is where the bride wears a wedding dress and is photographed.
Here on the main avenue of Ginza, They sell and rent out wedding dresses. Their strategy is to get couples excited about the big day. We visited a wedding hall operated by the company. Inside the 8,000 square meter compound is a mansion-like facility with a pool. This vast and extravagant space is rented out for the entire day to one couple and guests, and includes a wedding hall and reception area. This is a ceremony held at the chapel. A variety of wedding styles are offered. The reception area can seat up to 120 guests. Food and drink are plentiful. The dishes, which add a flair to the grand event, are explained by the head chef himself. For about 2 hours, the guests feast, with speeches and various entertainment adding to the celebratory mood. The couple may also give a brief introduction on their childhood and upbringing.
The average price is about $28,000 in Japan. Our price is higher, about $40,000. Customers can spend $40,000 and feel it's reasonable, or pay $5,000 and think it's expensive. It depends on their perspective. For us, the most important thing is to offer a service that makes customers feel they've gotten a value greater than the price.
One reason the company says it's able to charge a higher price than rivals is because it goes out of the way to accommodate customers' demands. If requested, they'll let the bride and groom arrive in a helicopter and even put on a fireworks show.
We believe listening to the needs of customers is crucial. I believe we need to have a professional outlook, meaning offering customers a wedding that will move them. There's always the possibility that the wedding will become self-serving. In those cases, we suggest or propose ideas that would make the event enjoyable for guests as well. In that way, we can create a wedding that will be moving for everybody.
Do you ever refuse a request?
Sometimes you have to say no. In fact, the inability to say no is why weddings across Japan began to be about the guests, not the couple, and similar in style.
Central to creating that tailor-made wedding are staff called wedding planners. A dedicated planner is assigned to each couple and helps to give form to their ideal ceremony. They say the process can take between 6 months and a year. And finally, the big day. Constantly at their side, the wedding planner assists the couple throughout the wedding.
ケーキ入刀乾杯という風に進めていきたいと思います。
The company says recruiting the right people is a crucial element to surviving in the cutthroat bridal business.
After all, people serve food at weddings. People provide the service. The facility is prepared by people. And wedding planners are also people. I believe people are the most important factor. That is the root of service. We are a company that likes doing things for other people. People who want to give their effort and passion to others. By doing so, they receive tremendous love in return. People who believe that is the greatest gift, those who have a strong spirit of hospitality. In our recruitment process, we narrow down our candidates quite a lot.
On regular days, the reception area is open to the public. In fact, when there are no weddings scheduled, it becomes a restaurant. Only 3 types of courses are offered, costing between $25 and $55.
I come here for special occasions, like birthdays. They're very particular about the taste, so the dishes are delicious.
But why operate a restaurant?
By constantly requiring our chefs to be at the top of their game and to improve their skills, we can take the feedback here and apply them to the weddings. In that way, we can differentiate ourselves from our rivals. That's our aim. It's not simply about keeping turnover high on regular days. The main purpose is to improve the technical skills and mindset of our employees. That's the primary reason.
The reason for running a restaurant on regular days is to train staff for their weddings business.
The same team handles the weddings, so even on regular days, they are constantly in training.
What's more, the company has a special way to ensure that they retain top talent.
This is footage from our employee assembly. Every employee attends.
This is an employee assembly held once a year. Everything is planned and directed by the employees.
Do you feel that it benefits communication between employees and the business itself?
I really believe it does. All the employees look forward to this event and want to take the stage, so we make an effort to make it as exciting as possible. We want to use the feedback from this type of event in our weddings business. After all, it's the same. It's about getting people excited.
The main event is a ceremony to award the highest achievers in each department over the past year. The top wedding planner gets a $10,000 cash prize. What's more, those who win an MVP award 3 times are given a credit card with an annual $12,000 spending limit.
You can use it for anything you want. You can go to a spa or travel. It doesn't matter. We want employees to polish themselves up and bring back a new and improved perspective. We want them to become stars that other staff can aspire to.
Armed with this type of management and recruitment know-how, the company has started to eye an expansion into overseas markets.
Looking at the situation objectively, the population is shrinking, so people wanting to get married may also decrease, and the outlook doesn't seem promising.
There are still many things we can do. At the same time, getting customers to feel that they received good service is the same around the world, regardless of language or customs. Hospitality is a very important concept in Japan. We believe we can take this spirit of hospitality to other countries in Asia and even to the US and Europe.
The weddings business, like a marriage, requires constant attention. That will determine the future of the company.
Matsui and Company.
The view is almost like peering down on the star-filled night sky at your feet. It's the city at night seen from a height of 450 meters. Make unforgettable memories. City lights stretching for as far as the eye can see. Find it at Tokyo Skytree.
Hey, look at this. They're building a huge steel plant with Kobelco technology.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. They can make iron with incredible speed. What once took 8 hours can be done in just 10 minutes.
Wow, the Japanese are incredible. The country of karate.
Ha! 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 Karate has nothing to do with it.
True.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. Japan, a regional powerhouse. And now, direct from Japan, economic news with a global impact in Chinese, delivered by Nikkei. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
Sasuke, a new type of sports entertainment program conquering the world.
It's about human achievement and people's passions, and I think that relates to almost everybody.
From Japan to the world, Ninja Warrior, Tokyo Broadcasting System.
You're watching Channel Japan. Our next segment is Project Japan. We'll be looking at voice synthesis technology. So Utsuda-san, would you explain what it is?
Yes, absolutely. Now, voice synthesis simply means using a computer to artificially recreate a human voice. And let me show you how it's done. This is a website of a company that offers a voice synthesis service, and there's a trial page, so let's give it a try. Now, first you type in a sentence, and then you choose a character. They each have different voices, so I'm choosing this woman voice, and here it goes.
Hello to the viewers of Channel Japan.
Wow, very smooth. I thought it would be more mechanical or robotic.
I know, it sounds like
impressive.
a person, doesn't it? Let me try another person. Now a male voice.
Hello to the viewers of Channel Japan.
Isn't it? So, one of the features of this voice synthesizer here is that you can choose a variety of voices and just easily recreate any kind of voice. And research into these kinds of voice synthesis technology has been long carried out in the US and Europe, but in Japan, researchers are developing more human-like and fluid speech patterns. And this time we went to find out how this technology is actually being used. So, have a look.
The Project Japan. This is a research facility of Sony. A smartphone application called Otolatte was developed here. The project leaders are in their 20s. Otolatte is a service that reads out the news and other information collected over the internet.
7日、日本時間8日、アルゼンチンの首都ブエノスアイレスで第125次総会を開き、2020年夏季五輪の開催地に東京を選んだ。
The smooth delivery is made possible by a technology called voice synthesis. With voice synthesis, voice recordings of actual people, the source, are put into a database, which are then synthesized, allowing a computer to read out words.
Lots of people talk about how the internet is enjoyable, but there are some who've been left behind. What we want to do is develop solutions for them.
Depending on the content chosen by users, such as news or lifestyle information, Otorate alters the voice source and background music. A beta version that uses English has been developed, which we were allowed to try out.
Sometimes Otolate provides news.
Hello and welcome to the program. Sony Computer Science Laboratories, Incorporated has announced that the new radio application, Otolate.
To increase the number of voice sources, one of the developers, Takaaki Saeki, heads to Osaka. He visits the office of entertainment company Yoshimoto Kogyo. Lending her pipes to record a new voice source is entertainer Sakura Inagaki Saki. She's known for being able to imitate the voices of characters in the popular animation Evangelion. The recording begins. An engineer from Toshiba, which developed the recording system, is also present.
特製カクテルはゴッホの名前通りヴィンセント・ファン・ゴッホ。恋人ミョンヒョンと結婚間近のジョンウォン。
She reads out a jumble of 85 sentences that don't seem to make sense. The 20-minute recording session is over. What do they plan to do with this?
Those sentences are like a car to be stripped for parts. We take the letters, the vowels and consonants, and use them as the raw material. With voice synthesis, they are put into a database. We choose the best sounds and synthesize them.
For example, the audio wave of the sentence, "Hello to the viewers of Channel Japan." Each syllable is broken up and reconnected using pre-recorded voice sources.
Hello to the viewers of Channel Japan. Hello to the viewers of Channel Japan.
Mr. Saeki of Sony says he wants to overturn the image of Japanese electronics as unexciting.
When I just entered the company, people were already questioning the future of manufacturers. I heard that in the US, there was a high school student who became the president of a company. I didn't want to lose. Of course, I wanted to win.
Mr. Saeki is hoping to go on the offense with his application. One person comes to see him. A user who has a visual impairment and sees potential uses for Otorate.
We don't look at the computer screen, so a screen reader has the same meaning for us as actually looking at the screen. I see. The articles could be read at a faster speed.
Mr. Saeki's objective is to get as much direct feedback from users to create a product that anyone can use.
I have a dream. Sony developed the Walkman and allowed music, which used to be limited to the home, to be taken outside and become a part of our lives. We are aiming to do the same thing. Through this company, we believe we can create the next sound-related culture.
Voice synthesis is already being put to use in our daily lives. Agamachi, Niigata Prefecture. A town of 13,000 people. The population here has been shrinking. We visited a local nursery. Suddenly,
くまに注意ください。本日午後1時15分ごろ、三河地域の古立橋周辺でクマが目撃されました。
an emergency announcement by the town office is broadcast over the loudspeakers. Meanwhile, at the town office, in a small back room on the second floor, an employee is typing a message into the computer.
We have frequent sightings of bears.
What he's inputting is the text for the emergency announcement, which will be broadcast using voice synthesis. The shrinking population has left the office short of hands. This system helps them issue regular and emergency announcements without staff. The cost is reasonable, about $3,000 annually.
With actual recordings, you have to do a retake if there's a mistake. With this, we can make adjustments on a computer as many times as we like. When we get used to it, we'll be able to do things a lot quicker than before.
What do the residents think?
It's always the same voice, so I was wondering who it was.
We have a natural tendency to think it's an actual person talking.
The software is sold by a group company of optical equipment maker Hoya. 10 years ago, they set their sights on voice synthesis as a new business.
For example, we're creating characteristics for voices based on the purpose, such as for emergency broadcasts and call centers, and turning them into products.
The company is developing and marketing voice synthesis software targeted at various industries, including foreign language education. One of their customers is this university. Starting this school year, an English conversation class uses study materials incorporating voice synthesis. All students need to do is type the phrase they want to practice into the computer. Then the software reads it out using the correct pronunciation.
Let's stop here for a while. Let's stop here for a while.
I can customize it into my personal practice software.
What's more, when a student pronounces the word Lord,
Road.
it points out mistakes, helping to improve language acquisition.
The interest of students is completely different when they use this. Lessons by teachers aren't necessary. This is more fun for them. I wonder what's going to happen in the future.
Hoya Service has started to aggressively market their software. They say sales have grown 10% every year.
Voice synthesis doesn't end once you make the product. You have to keep developing it. The aim is to bring it as close as possible to a human voice.
Voice synthesis is still in early stages. The evolution of technologies to turn the written word into a voice may just turn up the volume in our lives.
Tsuda-san, I might lose a job someday. I'm so threatened.
No, not quite yet. But
Wow.
quite amazing.
Yes, yes. But come to think of it, you hear synthesized voices from electric appliances like bathtub thermostat and public places such as announcement in train or buses and even from vending machines. So in Japan, there's not a day that goes by without hearing no human talking to you.
Yes, I agree. And I'm told that one of the aspects of Japan that surprises tourists from overseas is the fact that you hear so many announcements made by artificial voices every day. And now the accumulation of these technologies is a character that that's gained worldwide fame, and I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yes, I know. We did a report on her.
Yes, we
and
did.
you're talking about Hatsune Miku.
This here's an application that uses a Vocaloid character to read haiku poems.
Well, to explain to our viewers, haiku have 5 syllables on the first line, 7 on the second, and 5 on the third. Well, I've heard it's been recognized in some countries as a sort of short poetic style. So how does this application work?
Yes, you type in whatever poem you've made or you'd like to. You have it.
The character actually sings the haiku. very, very interesting. Well, it's some sort of a classic poetic style merged with the latest technology, I guess.
You could say that, yes. And as you know, Japan has one of the fastest aging populations in the world. And by incorporating this technology in entertainment, as well as electronics and other areas, it might be possible to develop new services. And so, for example, remote controls that you communicate with by using your voice.
Right, that's a good idea. So it will be interesting to see how this technology actually develops.
Changing emissions from copper refineries into fertilizer. That is where Sumitomo Chemical got its start. For 100 years, we've been delivering the power of chemistry around the world. And we will continue to help make the world a better place for the next 100 years and more.
Traditional.
Consistent.
Precise.
Speedy.
Professional. Innovative.
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC. Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
ยังจำได้หรือเปล่านะเรื่องต่างๆที่เกิดขึ้นตอนวาดรูปนี้ แต่ถ้ารถยนต์ในฝันของฉันมีจริงฉันคงจะมีความสุขมากเลย
Asia, the engine of the global economy. The pulse of the region at your fingertips with unique insights from Nikkei. With Nikkei Asian Review, stay up to date on the latest economic trends anywhere in the world. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
The search is on to discover the next creative master of Asia. Japan's leading TV and radio network, TBS, brings to you the Digicon 6 Awards, giving visual artists in Asia an opportunity to create their dreams. Whether it's a short drama, animation, or music video, if it's yours, you may be the next winner of the Digicon 6 Grand Prize. For more details, check out digicon6.com. It's time to create your dreams.
You're watching Channel Japan. In our next segment, we introduce you to popular economics programs. Today, it's from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite. So, Utsuda-san, what's the topic today?
Yes, for today we'll be looking at off-season foods. And in recent years, a growing number of companies in the agriculture and fishing industries have been promoting such products to generate new demand.
Well, first of all, it might be necessary for us to explain to our viewers what the significance of seasons is, particularly in Japan.
That's true. Now, seasonal, or shun, as we call it in Japanese, refers to the 4 seasons of spring, summer, autumn, and winter, and also their specific vegetables and seafood that are associated with each season. And naturally, foods taste best when they're in season, but there are now moves to quicken or delay harvest seasons to drive sales. So, take a look.
This is the food section of a department store. Among the various fresh fish, there's one that the vendor is promoting aggressively to customers. Yellowtail in the summer? Normally the season is...
When is yellowtail season?
Isn't it winter? I'm sure it's winter. I was wondering why they're on sale now.
The usual season for yellowtail is winter. Those raised on fish farms occasionally come onto the market in limited quantities, but the fat and taste pale in comparison to winter stock. In contrast, Kurosei yellowtail is said to taste best in summer.
Fish sales fall in the summer, but these Kurosei yellowtail sell extremely well, and it's one fish we want to promote.
So how are they able to secure tasty yellowtail in the summer? We visited the hometown of Kurosei yellowtail.
This is where we raise yellowtail fry. From here, we move them to a fish farm in the sea and raise them.
This is a facility set up by Nissui in July to begin full-scale farming of Kurosei yellowtail. After the fry reach a certain size, they are moved to the sea. At first glance, it looks to be a regular fish farm. But
we changed the cultivation environment and made it different from regular conditions. So, the fish mistakes summer for winter.
natural yellowtail hatch in the spring and come into season the following winter. Meanwhile, with Kurosei yellowtail, the adults are put under lights in the autumn to create spring-like conditions, making them spawn. In this way, the fish develop half a year quicker and are ready to be shipped in the summer. Early morning, workers head out to sea to haul up the Kurosei yellowtail at the fish farm. The sun has just started to rise. The fish are pulled out one after another. 3,000 in all. But shifting the harvest season has caused some problems.
The water temperature is high, so we have to keep them cool.
High water temperatures can result in loss of appetite, which means the fish become thinner right before shipment season. Management is critical, such as feeding them in small amounts many times a day. The farm is several kilometers from shore. Fish farms are typically set up in shallow waters, but here the fish are raised in depths of 10 meters to lessen the impact from typhoons and direct sunlight.
By developing new demand and promoting yellowtail as a summer sashimi ingredient, we can create a new season for the fish.
Kurosei yellowtail, born in Miyazaki Prefecture. They've arrived in Tsukiji, known as the stomach of Tokyo.
This is Kurosei yellowtail. They're 20 or 30% more expensive than in the winter. The biggest advantage is that we have supplies year-round.
Supplies of yellowtail are generally high in the winter and low in the summer. Meanwhile, prices tend to be lower in the winter and higher in the summer. Moves to shift harvest seasons are spreading to other foods as well. Ehime Prefecture. This company produces and sells citrus products.
This is a refrigerator to store our products.
Last year, they built a massive refrigerator to preserve various citrus fruits.
These are Kawachi Bankan pomelo. They were harvested on July 6th. This cover has the effect of preserving the freshness.
Kawachi Bankan pomelo is a citrus fruit that comes into season between May and July and is a specialty of Ehime Prefecture. It has been referred to as a Japanese grapefruit. The temperature inside is set at 10 degrees Celsius. This special cover keeps the surface from drying out. What's more,
a coat of mugwort extract is applied. This prevents rotting and mold growth.
They carefully coat the citrus with the mugwort extract, said to inhibit mold growth. In this way, they ensure that the fruit don't rot and that the sugar content and acidity is preserved. But why do they go to such lengths to store this fruit?
By shipping them in September, when there's a shortage of citrus, we can increase their value.
Citrus supplies fall between August and September, so they decided to sell Kawachi Bankan Pomelo during this period.
We can diversify the sales period. And if we tried selling them all during the regular season, there's too much supply, and we're forced to lower the price.
In July, Kawachi Bankan Pomelo were priced at around $30 for 5 kilograms. But from September, they plan to raise the price by 1.5 to 2 times. Hearing about another unique initiative, we headed to Kimitsu, Chiba Prefecture. Cultivating produce to be harvested off-season is this farm.
This is a field for edamame beans that will begin harvesting from early October.
Hideya Yamashita is growing a type of edamame called Koito Zairai. They are mentioned in local folktales and were being grown several hundred years ago. But because of low yields and inefficient production, they went out of circulation 30 years ago. Since then, it has been called the lost edamame. Edamame are typically harvested in the summer, but the season for Koito Zairai is autumn. By shipping them when competition is low, they believed they could fetch a higher price and restarted production. The price is set at between $2 and $2.50. Compared to edamame sold in the summer, it's about 20% higher. The farm is planning to make fermented beans and tofu using Koito Zairai and market them as a regional brand. Moves to shift harvest seasons and capture new demand may expand the possibilities of the Japanese farming and fishing industries.
It's so interesting because they actually trick Yellowtail in order to shift the peak shipment from winter to summer.
I agree. Yellowtail actually accounts for more than half of the fish raised in fish farms in Japan, and typically they're shipped in the second year after autumn, but frequently just before they're shipped around in the summer, there are outbreaks of plankton which deplete stocks. So they came out with this technology to speed up development of the yellowtail, the fry of the yellowtail, so that the fish are ready to be shipped before such outbreaks happen. And research like that makes it possible for us consumers to enjoy tasty yellowtail in the summer.
Right. It certainly makes me want to go out and try this new yellowtail.
Me too.
Well, Tsuda-san, let's move on. Our next topic is community development that doesn't get old.
Yes, that's right. Well, in the late 1960s, Japan was undergoing rapid economic development, and a slew of massive residential compounds were built in major cities across Japan. And people moved in, and those areas thrived. But fast forward 40 years, and now they're facing various problems relating to the falling and aging population, as well as aging infrastructure.
Well, Tsuda-san, I know that there are several massive compounds in Tokyo areas as well, but why are these problems starting to surface now?
Yes, well, when they were first built, they quickly filled up with young families with children, but now those residents are older and the town has become older with them. I have a chart over here, and it shows the percentage of residents of 65 years and older in such compounds.
I see. Well, nearly 30% of the residents there are actually 65 and older.
Yes, exactly. But now one residential community is being built under the concept of a town that doesn't age. So take a look.
Japan's biggest suburban city, Tama New Town. Constructed over 40 years ago, it initially had an elderly population of just 5%, which has quadrupled over the decades. The shopping arcade is now run down, and tax revenues have shrunk.
In the beginning, there were lots of young people, but the demographics are changing quite drastically.
The once bustling area is no longer. Feeling a sense of crisis, the city of Tama is starting to take action.
We've launched something called a revitalization project to figure out what policies are needed for the future of Newtown.
The Tama New Town Revitalization Review Board was established in July. The purpose is to discuss measures to rejuvenate the entire area. There's one town that Tama City wants to use as a model.
The initiatives taken by Yukarigaoka, their scheme to grow the population and the concept itself, offers an extremely good example for us.
Set up around the same time as Tama New Town, Yukarigaoka is an area in Sakura, Chiba Prefecture. Inside the residential district, numerous vacant lots are seen, much like wormholes dotting the landscape. They're not unsold properties.
We have quite a lot of wormhole-like places. We limit annual sales to 200 properties, so you see this kind of situation throughout the town.
Most homes here are built for sale, and for years the supply of new homes has been kept at about 200 annually. The wormholes are lots that they purposely left vacant to build new homes in the future.
By carrying out sales systematically, we believe we'll be able to create a town in which people, old, young, men and women, can always live.
The vacant lots in front of old homes will one day be developed into new homes. Young families will continually move in, helping to maintain a demographic balance. The developer, Yamaman, has been collecting data on residents for the past 40 years.
This is when information was still handwritten. This ledger is from 1980, when the first residents moved in.
The main information is the age makeup. Using a graph showing the changes in age brackets over 5-year time frames, they forecast population trends 5 and 10 years ahead. With that data, the developer begins planning in advance the construction of childcare facilities for young families, welfare facilities for the elderly, and other necessary infrastructure.
Everything goes up at once and declines at once. That's not necessarily an ideal way of building a town. The work of aggregating and analyzing data over many years, not simply for a certain time period, is extremely important.
Yukarigaoka has another scheme to keep the town from graying. We visited the home of one resident. The Itos have lived in this house since about 30 years ago. Their son, who grew up here, left home 15 years ago. Recently, they've been having difficulties in doing things around the house.
Cleaning up is difficult. I'm having trouble walking up and down the steps.
The couple has started thinking about moving out. A big reason is a plan that's offered by the developer.
You can't get a loan without equivalent cash holdings. So they said they'll buy it before we buy it.
Buy it before they buy it? Central to that scheme is the condominium that they'll move into, a short walk from their current home.
That's the condo.
It is a building inside Yukarigaoka. This was also developed by Yamaman. When residents of Yukarigaoka decide to buy a unit of a new condominium in the area, the developer purchases their existing home before they move out, allowing them to secure the funds needed to buy the condo unit beforehand. The Itos are also using this scheme.
I sometimes lose my footing, so this is comforting. Without it, I wouldn't be able to stand up straight.
This condominium is equipped with emergency call buttons and handrails in a variety of places. It was designed to make daily life more convenient for elderly residents. The couple appears quite satisfied with the new facilities. The homes bought from residents are renovated by the developer and sold to families with young children.
It looks mostly brand new. It has a completely different feel than an old or renovated home. That was my first impression.
This is the living room of a home before renovation. This is how it looks after. What's more, the price is 30% lower than a newly built home.
The price was a lot lower than a new home. However, I didn't get the impression that the quality was lower.
By encouraging elderly residents to move into condominiums, relatively inexpensive second-hand homes are opened up, allowing them to attract young families. This positive feedback loop keeps the town vibrant. The result has been a growth in the number of families with children for the past 16 years. On one weekend, the town's biggest event, the Yukari Festival, was held. Tetsuo Shimada, the man who originally conceived of Yukarigaoka, was also here. Town building with the future in mind. It all started with a strong belief that the president had.
In Japan, from long ago, several generations would live together, and there would be a cycle. So, I wanted to do the same thing here. We're different from the government. They think about measures after a problem arises. We do things before there's a problem.
By looking ahead from 40 years ago, they have succeeded in building a town that continues to grow. Other new towns are in the works. This company is aiming to build a town that lasts for 100 years.
It doesn't end with building the town. It starts after the town is built.
They plan to have childcare and welfare facilities ready for the opening next spring, and attract residents from a wide range of age groups.
From the beginning, we've designed the town to cater to people from various age groups, and will offer services to promote community ties. We want to make it an area where people can continue to live as generational changes take place.
The real test will be when development is completed. Town building with the future in mind. This may become the shape of residential communities across Japan.
Leaving spaces vacant so that the town doesn't age is quite unique.
Isn't it?
And it's also surprising that the town is still growing even after 40 years.
I agree. Developer Yamama is definitely an unconventional company. Now, they began selling lots at the Yukarigaoka in 1979, and 3 years later they opened a new transportation system in the area. And since then they've set up hotels and shopping centres near the station, and they also have welfare and childcare facilities, and they even now have security personnel, their own security personnel patrolling the grounds.
It seems that Yamama is overseeing everything, and it's quite interesting way to build up a community. Well, that brings us to the end of this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so make sure to tune in next week.
Sou uma pessoa comum. Eu gosto de apreciar todos os momentos do meu dia. Quanto isso pode me motivar? Como eu posso me manter focada? Tudo ao meu redor, incluindo os momentos do meu dia a dia, é o que eu preciso para me concentrar para a minha luta de 90 minutos. Quero dar esperança às pessoas. A better life, a better world.
Panasonic. Trading card games transcend generations as well as borders. Trading card games will unite the world. However, the possibilities do not simply end there. Trading card games combine the different forms of entertainment, and fun will link the world as one. Bushiroad.
How do we build sustainability into our relationship with Mother Earth? That's Kaiteki, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. Japan, a regional powerhouse. And now, direct from Japan, economic news with a global impact in Chinese. Delivered by Nikkei. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
Channel Japan. Your source for the voices and views of people and businesses across Japan. The latest reports on Japanese companies, culture, and technology. Find out what's happening on the ground. Every week, direct from Tokyo, Channel Japan.